and welcome to a brand new video. So in this video I'm going to try my very best to explain to you how I price my shipping. Now I am using this for my Etsy and for my website, and I am in the UK and I do use Royal Mail Click and Drop. So the reason why I'm doing this, doing new shipping on my Etsy is actually because when I first put everything up on my Etsy, I didn't necessarily know what to price things for international items, and I found it quite difficult. But I have figured everything out, and hopefully this video can help you guys. So first off, I designed this sheet. This is the new design, so you can put the size of the parcel at the bottom, item to the top left, whether it's going to be second class, first class, tracking, that kind of thing in the two boxes, and then on the last box you can put how much the item weighs. And I've done the list of countries. So these are the countries that Etsy have provided as the main countries of shipping, because if you did every single option they had, so like I know some countries have like individual, so like America, you have America, but then in America you have like different states. I hope that makes sense. And if you did that for everywhere, you would be there for a very long time. It would be very time consuming. It would be practically impossible. Well, not impossible, but just very difficult to do. So Etsy have given us a list of the main countries, places and stuff, and we are using that. So we have your country, so mine for me is the UK. Then you have a list of the other countries, and then you have the European Union and the Europe non-EU. These are all of the countries that we will be using. So the very first thing that I did was I weighed everything, all of my items. So when I first had Etsy, a lot of my stuff would be kind of like pre-order / custom made, whereas now all of my stuff is pre-made items. This makes life a whole lot easier. I recommend doing it. Obviously, if you have things that are supposed to be custom, then you can't pre-make them because you don't know what it's going to be. But if you can pre-make your items, I highly recommend doing that and then adding them on, especially with the way that Etsy works. It will save you a lot of money and a lot of time. So obviously all of my items now are pre-made, so I could then package them. So I pretend package them, or on the scales I placed all of the stuff that was going to be included, so the packaging and the item themselves, and I got the weight. This way I could put the weight on each section. So like I said, we have a different sheet for each item, and then we will have different weights for each item. And some items are actually letter, and for letter items you cannot add tracking, but you can add like first class. This will just help us later on when we are gathering information to stay really organized and to save us some more time. Then what I did is I had all of the sheets on Procreate, and that's how I did it. So mine is really rough, and here is what these sheets actually ended up looking like with the prices on, but I will show you how to do the price in a moment, so do not panic. But anyway, I ended up putting them as a stack on Procreate. I named the stack Postage 10/21, so October 2021, so that if in the future I would like to change it because the prices have changed, then I can change what is necessary instead of having to do it all over again, unless I have to anyway. But yeah. Then in each picture, so I basically duplicated them and then just changed like what was necessary. So if like the weight was different, or if it was a large letter instead. But I had a sheet for each item that I have. So I had toe guards, for example. I didn't have a sheet for like blue toe guards or purple toe guards. I only had toe guards for toe guards cup and then toe guards long, and because they go in different size parcels. But I did ones for pins, for notepads, all of that kind of stuff. And then what I did was I put them in order of size, parcel size. So I did letters, and I did large letters, and I did small parcels, and then the last one was refurbished skates, which I actually never ended up filling it in, and I still haven't, because I mean, I don't need to right now. I can wait a little bit longer on that one. Then I put them in weight order. So the stickers were 6 grams, then after that, for example, the charms, they were 10 to 15 grams, so that would go after. And then it would move on to large letter, so I had some 40 grams items, and then after that I would have 45 grams. But here's a thing that I noticed. So obviously shipping is determined based on weight, but where is the limit? So what I noticed was with the letters, all of my items were either 6 grams all the way up to 20 grams. And I noticed that anything in between those stayed exactly the same price. So what I did was I just did the first one. So stickers, for example, were 6 grams. And then I filled in all of the stuff, and then I duplicated it, but then changed like the name and the weight at the top, because even though they had all the same prices, they were for different items, so I could stay on top of everything. And then I just duplicated it for however many times I needed to, instead of having to write it all the same over and over and over and over and over. So for the large letters, I had items that were from 40 grams all the way up to 100 grams was my stop point. So 40 grams to 100 grams, I don't know about before that. I don't know if it would, but they were the same price also. So all of my items within that gram range, but also as a large letter, were exactly the same prices, so I duplicated those. And then after 100 grams the price changed, so my next item was 150 grams but still a large letter, but this price was different, so I just redid that list instead of duplicating it because the prices wouldn't be right. Then after that I had an item which was 265 grams, but also a large letter, and this was a different price also, so I didn't duplicate my 150 gram because it was a different price. So I don't know where the stop point was to change the price, but it became a different price. So check, but as far as I was concerned, anywhere between 40 grams and 100 grams, they were the same price for the large letter. And then after that I had a 95 grams small parcel for my toe guards, and they were a different price because they were a small parcel instead of large letter. And then the next small parcel I had was 300 grams, so there was a big difference, so I don't know where it would have changed at, so I just did all of those, the rest separately basically. Now when it comes to Royal Mail click and drop, here is how I figured out how much it would be for each country. So on Royal Mail click and drop I created a fake order. So you can go to orders, create an order, put in a fake address, put in a fake name. I use tester so that I can reuse it. And then when you go down you can put in, you know, the order weight, but you can put in whichever one and change it in the next step. Then you can put UK. So I have one order for the UK that I change, well, that I look through, and so I clicked apply postage, and then what I did was I went through every single item that I have. So I went from the 6 to 15 grams letter, and I looked how much it would be to ship in the UK, and then I also looked at how much it would be to ship tracked, or if it was a letter, first class. And then I put that down on the little note form things. Now the next fake order I made was for Fiji. This is because for some parcels sometimes it will change depending on the size, but you can just change this as it goes. But the most expensive place to ship to is Fiji from the UK, so I made a fake order going to Fiji. Now the address doesn't have to be a Fiji address because I don't know what their postcodes look like, because I know America's different, but because we're not actually going to be buying postage labels, it doesn't really matter as long as the country is set to Fiji. So then I can go click apply postage, but we're not actually gonna like pay for this, we're just looking at the prices. And then for the everywhere else section on the form, I basically put the prices that it would cost to send the items to Fiji. Now this I changed for some of them, so if an item was more expensive to actually send to America after doing my full list, I would just change it to be the highest price that is on there. But either way, you want everywhere else to be the highest price because you don't want to be undercharging by accident. Then the third order that I made, well, fake order, is pretty much any country. So I always have UK and Fiji, and then I made another country, so you can pick anyone, let's say Australia. And then I look at the prices, add them to the forms for every single item, so that way we don't have to like keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it's still a back and forth motion, but it's a lot easier. So once I've filled in every single one for that specific country, you can move on to the next country. Now, instead of making a new order, fake order for a new country, what you can do is click on that country and click edit, and then just change the country region. You don't have to change like the whole address, just the country region, and then it will give you the prices for that country. So that, and then you would fill in all of the stuff on every single form for that country. So it is tedious. I'm sure there's probably a better way of doing it, but I haven't come up with it. But this is the best that I can do. But don't worry if that was too confusing to hear. I just wanted to try and explain as much as I can beforehand, so that when you see me actually doing it, which I will show you in a moment, it won't be the most confusing thing in the world, okay? Fingers crossed. And I hope this video was helpful. Also, feel free to copy anything if you have items that are the exact same weight and the exact same parcel size. Now they both have to be the exact same, okay? The item in itself, it doesn't matter what type of item it is, as long as it weighs the same and the parcel is exactly the same, you can just use my list and copy it completely. That's absolutely fine. And obviously the file is downloadable from my website, or it's free on Patreon. Okay, so here I am doing the stickers, and as you can see, everywhere is the exact same price for standard, except for the United Kingdom. So when I've gone to put that in, I have made a profile. I did my country, my range for processing time, so this is how long it takes to ship an item out, and I always put 1 to 2 weeks just to be in the comfort zone, but normally I get it out much quicker. Then for United Kingdom, I put Royal Mail second class, and it's going to be a fixed price at £1. And then instead of doing every single other country, I just put everywhere else at £2 international standard, because everywhere else has the exact same price. So now if we scroll down, we can see here we can add a delivery upgrade. So this is where I'm going to have tracking. So when it comes to tracking on Etsy, you can't do individual countries. You can only do your country and then every other country. So what I do is, for my country, I do the UK tracking. I'll show you that in a moment, but first I want to show you what international. So if we go back to here, international, it's all the same price except Fiji, which was the most expensive place to ship to. So I'm going to put it down as £5.15. That way, if anyone buys from Fiji, I'm not going to be left 10p short. I know it's not a lot, but it can add up very quickly. And I want it to be the most expensive price, just because that way I know I've covered every single country. So that's what I'm going to put down for international. Now for the UK, it's only 19p extra. That it's not going to be tracked. You can't track letters, but you can send them first class. So the same applies, it's just it's going to be called first class instead of tracking. So let's add that in. Okay, so let me just show you. So as you can see, for domestic, I put first class Royal Mail and Royal Mail first class 1 to 2 business days, and it's 19p. Now for international, I called it in first class because that in stands for international. Then I put Royal Mail. I made it Royal Mail International Standard because the other option was international tracked and signed, but we can't do that for letters. But because I've named it International First Class, people will know that it's a first class upgrade, and it's going to cost £5.15. So even though I put the plus next to it, that is only if people want to add on. It doesn't mean £1 plus 19 gives you the price of it, because this is automatically going to add it on Etsy. So Etsy will charge you £1. If you want to have it first class, it's going to charge you this, which is why we only added 19 instead of putting the final price in. We only put the price of how much it needs to be added on. Hope that makes sense. Here you can name the profile. I've named it stickers, and then I just click save profile. And on here I've created another layer, and then I'm just going to, in red, put a big tick so I know that I've done it. But I can remove this layer and it doesn't get rid of any of the stuff we've done underneath. Okay, so now I just want to show you guys. So the stickers, the charms, the phone danglers, the medical card, and the art prints are all exactly the same. So what I'm going to do on Etsy is, I'm going to click duplicate, because they are all exactly the same as this one, and I'm just going to change the name, and I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then just change the names to the different ones.